Now, for some of you who are not 100% familiar with the trolley example or are not sure about it or missed the early segment on that, I'm going to suggest that that you take a little look at something that'll help you think about the intuition or the idea which is the basis of Bentham and Mill's utilitarianism. I'm going to ask you to tune in to a YouTube video done by Professor Michael Sandel of Harvard University. And this is the one that I'm talking about. You don't need, it's a 54-minute video, almost 55-minute video. You don't need to listen to the whole thing, but certainly at least the first trolley example will give you an idea of the consideration that Bentham and Mill have in mind when they are proposing this theory. So there is a link to that YouTube video. You could also search for it if you haven't seen it yet. If you have and you feel pretty confident that you understand it, let us go on and think about one of the difficulties in trying to implement that three-step process. And I think we can understand it by considering the goal, or at least one goal, that utilitarianism has. And in considering, let's say, utilitarianism versus a theory like the divine command theory, people would question you if you said, we should do this, or murder is wrong because God says so. Say, who did you speak to God? Who told you that that's what God said? By contrast, utilitarianism is made in such a way that it's going to lay down an objective principle for determining when a given action is right or wrong, one that you can actually use to try to figure out if a particular action is right or wrong. So what I'd suggest for you to do is turn to another segment of justice. What's the right thing to do? Putting a price tag on a life. And I think listen to the beginning of this. Professor Sandel has an example about Ford Motor Car Company and a crash. Listen through that example, because I think it's going to give you an idea of the kind of calculation that people think makes sense, and how you could put a number, even roughly put a number associated with happiness or unhappiness. So take a look at that at the beginning of that video and see what he has to say about that Ford example, and we'll come back to it in a second.